The rain was relentless that Thursday evening, drumming against the tin roof of Tony's auto shop. Inside, Tony, a burly mechanic with grease-stained hands and a quiet heart, was locking up for the night. The world outside was dark, cold, and unforgiving. But the peace shattered in an instant. A violent screech of tires echoed through the rain, followed by the sickening crash of metal. Tony rushed to the window and saw a car flipping across the wet asphalt, landing upside down. Without hesitation, he grabbed his first aid kit and sprinted into the storm, the rain soaking him to the bone. When Tony reached the wreck, smoke curled from the crushed hood. Inside was a young policewoman, Officer Lane, alive but trembling, her eyes dazed, her badge catching what little light existed. Tony didn't hesitate. He forced the jammed door open with shaking hands, dragging her out just as flames began to lick the underside of the car. He checked her pulse, stopped the bleeding, and murmured reassurance into the chaos until ambulance sirens cut through the storm, and then silence. Just Tony standing alone in the rain. Exhausted, Tony returned to work the next morning. But instead of gratitude, he found a termination letter pinned to the wall. His boss didn't even look at him. "You're reckless, Tony. This isn't a charity. You abandoned your post." Tony stood frozen, the words hitting harder than the storm. He had saved a life and lost his job for it. But before he could process the injustice, something unusual happened. One police car pulled up, then another. Then 10 more. Lights flashing, sirens echoing, officers stepping out with purpose. Tony's heart raced. Confusion, fear, 100 questions. Then she stepped forward, Officer Lane, the woman he saved. Pale, recovering, but standing strong. "You saved my life," she said softly. "And now, it's time someone stood up for you." A detective approached, holding a file. "Tony Russo, we need your statement, but more importantly, we're here to make sure what you did last night doesn't go unnoticed." Behind them, media cameras gathered. Reporters whispered his name. Citizens watched from across the street. Tony's boss came storming out, red-faced and furious. But for the first time, Tony didn't feel small. He didn't feel voiceless. He felt seen. Officer Lane stepped closer, holding a small envelope. "This is from me," she said. Inside was a letter of commendation from the police department, praising his bravery, his quick thinking, and the life he saved. But the real surprise was tucked behind it. Handwritten letters from Officer Lane's family. Notes of gratitude, of love, of pure relief. Messages thanking Tony for giving them back someone they weren't ready to lose. The media recorded everything: Tony's shock, his humility, the truth of his bravery. Meanwhile, his boss shrank under the weight of public judgment. The world saw Tony as a hero. A man with courage, compassion, and heart. Weeks later, Tony's auto shop reopened, this time under new management. Customers lined up not just for repairs, but to support the man who acted when no one else would. Tony fixed cars with a grateful heart, remembering that night in the rain, the night everything changed. Tony used to believe heroism was about fame or recognition. But now he understood the truth. Heroism is choosing compassion, even when no one sees it. And sometimes the kindness you give returns in ways you never expect. As sunlight broke through the clouds that morning, Tony felt a warmth deep in his chest. Not pride, not attention, but purpose. Because one selfless act, one moment of courage, can change the world. One life at a time.